Previously on Just World.
I don't like the Phantom of the Opera too much, everybody.
And now for the rest of the review.
We begin our musical with a very redundant epilogue? Prologue? Fuck it, it's an epiprologue. Don't use that, I have the patent on that, it's mine. Here we see our less interesting leading man named Raoul in really awful old man makeup, trying to spend his retirement fund on old mementos from his past, such as posters for a show his old lady was in, and a monkey that belonged to his wife's old stalker.
Every detail, exactly as she said. She often spoke of you, my friend, your velvet lining and your figurine of lead.
Alright, here's always something I've wondered about this since I've first seen the show. One can assume that line implies Christine told Raoul about this monkey. My question is, how did that conversation go down? That monkey's beautiful, its symbol's beautiful, it was the best thing ever, I want a toy monkey too, Raoul buy me one! Jesus Christ, Christine, our rent is due and you're 8 months pregnant, can you shut up about your old stalker's mementos? I need a drink.
Lot 666 then.
Oh lord, that's cheap. I forgot how lazy and stupid that reference was. You might as well have just said, Lot Satan symbolism. Who wants to buy Lot Satan symbolism? Or perhaps it's the magic of the Dark Lord that sends us back in time through the magic of light, special effects, and a chandelier. Thank you, O wonderful merciless devil, for the trip to the past. Whee! So Satan's powers take us back to the year 1881 at the rehearsal for an upcoming show called Hannibal. From what I gather, the opera is about the return of troops from fighting Roman soldiers. During this rehearsal, we are introduced to the opera's manager.
As you know, for some weeks there have been rumors about my imminent retirement. I can now tell you these were all true.
And then we are told that he is retiring and being replaced by new managers, Andre and Firmin. These two may seem like nothing more than comic relief, but they're very important. Since they're new to the opera, all the important information is given to them.
He merely welcomes you to his opera house and reminds you that his salary is due.
His salary?
Monsieur Lefebvre paid him 20,000 francs a month.
Jesus Christ, how'd the Phantom make that arrangement? What does he need down there? A new mask? A new hat? Or does he need all that money to pay for the Christine sex doll he has down there for some reason? What was his arrangement anyways?
For every month that I don't burn this motherfucking opera house to the ground, I get 20,000 francs. Failure to comply with this will lead me to not only burn down the opera house, but also I will track down and murder your wife and children for extra measure. Be sure to kiss little Susie goodnight tonight. You may not be able to do it tomorrow.
Peace out and sauerkraut from Mr. Phantom.
I have to retire. We have a diva under the name Carlotta Guidicelli, who is requested by the new managers to sing an aria for them. However, in the process, the Phantom unleashes the scenery to fall onto Carlotta. Carlotta, thoroughly terrified and tired of all the Phantom's antics since she's been a part of the theater, decides to leave for her own safety. I hear most people say that Carlotta is irrational and annoying, but I completely agree with her. I wouldn't want to have my life possibly be compromised just from trying to do my job. I would have left too. Nevertheless, oh no, we don't have a star! What are we gonna do? Wait. A chorus girl named Christine has been trained by an unknown person.
Oh, from whom?
I don't know, sir.
Sounds good enough for me! So Christine performs Carlotta's role that night to relative acclaim. It could be argued that her performance is successful due to her amazing singing, but I reckon it's due to the use of red cameras and LED screens in the 1800s.
Long ago, it seems so long ago, how young and innocent we were.
Oh, Raoul. Raoul was Christine's childhood sweetheart, as defined by the movie.
I guess you could say we were childhood sweethearts. Christine, he's so handsome.
Hey, yo, Meg, why don't you lay off the tip? I call dibs. But Christine, all's fair in love and war. What part of dibs was confusing to you? The only way you're getting that piece of man meat is over my dead body. Well, shit.
He called me Little Lottie.
Little Lottie.
Now, can I pause for a moment? Why the hell does he call her Lottie? How does that make any sense? Her name's Christine, not like Charlotte, where Lottie would make sense. Wouldn't Christine's nickname be like Chris or Christy? I'm gonna Google what the hell a Lottie is. Okay, maybe not. Wait, Christine's not actually French, right? She's Swedish. Let's check Swedish background. Shit. I guess I'll have to check with LaRue. But that means I have to read. Alright, from what I gather, Lottie is from a Swedish folktale, and Lottie from the tale is described as blonde-haired, blue-eyed Aryan. Hitler would have loved her. Yeah, musical Christine doesn't quite work too well, but that describes book Christine perfectly. And by the way, it's not pronounced Lottie, it's pronounced Lot. You fail at Swedish. It's a Swedish fail. Back to Raoul and Christine. They catch up once again and immediately hit it off like they did as children. It looks like Raoul's years of searching for the one on Christian Mingle is over. Ha ha ha! Anachronistic jokes. But I digress. Raoul tries to invite Christine out to dinner, without any real consent. He just kind of assumes, she's a woman, of course she'll want my rich Vicomte Willie. And that drives Christine's teacher to reveal himself in all his angst-rage glory.
In stolen void, this late of action, basking in your glory.
Coming from the man that plays dress-up while he composes. Seriously, dude, you look goddamn ridiculous. Nevertheless, the Phantom takes Christine to his over-elaborate dungeon of the Opera House and sings one of the least story progressive songs in the entire show, The Music of the Night. Like, what the hell do we learn from this song aside from the fact that the Phantom has no idea how to grab the boobage? When Christine sees the wedding edition Christine Barbie, she faints. The next morning, Christine wakes up in a stranger's gated dungeon and her first thought is to remove the stranger's mask. Verbal abuse ensues.
Damn you! You little prime Pandora! You little demon!
It's always bothered me that this isn't the point at which Christine decides the Phantom is crazy pants insane and runs for the hills, because that's more or less what happens in the book. In the musical, however, it takes the death of a stagehand and a chandelier crash to cause Christine to think,
Maybe this isn't the nicest guy in the world.
Although, I do love how Christine offers the Phantom his mask back despite his anger and self-pity. That was one of the genius additions by Hal Prince that adds that level of emotional verisimilitude that this show is remembered for. The next day, the Phantom writes a bunch of letters, makes a lot of demands, and makes more veiled threats on top of all that. It becomes blatant in these scenes that the Phantom isn't as much an evil mastermind as much as he is a paper equivalent of an internet troll. I also love how in the film adaptation, while making these threats, the Phantom's just playing with his dolls.
In the new production of Il Muto, you will therefore cast Carlotta as the page boy and put Miss Dye in the role of Countess.
Why do you have that all set up? Why do the heads come off? Did you plan it to be that way? Is this what you spend the manager's 20,000 francs on? That is not a wise investment, sir.
Did you see anything? No, sir. I didn't see you playing with your dolls again. Good!
The Phantom tells the comic relief that Christine should totes McGoats be in the new opera. The managers refuse to fulfill his orders for reasons of just cuz. So Carlotta is brought back in to play the role, and in all honesty, I think Carlotta is a better choice. She has much more charisma than the doe-eyed Christine, and has a stronger range. Why do people hate Carlotta again? Is it because she's traditionally fat? Is it because society hates fat people? In all honesty, I felt more emotion for the relationship between Carlotta and Piangi than I did Christine and Raoul, or Christine and Eric. Piangi is always by his woman's side, defending her honor as a performer, and altogether being a decent, faithful lover who's been with her for years. Look at Minnie Driver holding Piangi in the movie, the love of her life, killed by a creepy masked man. All they were trying to do was put on operas together and get a paycheck. They were innocents in all of this, and now their union is destroyed. That's my emotional connection. I'm not getting misty-eyed over the creepy deformed guy being sad a girl he stalked doesn't like him. Back to El Mudo. Does this opera house change its operas every other day? Like yesterday the house is performing Hannibal. Now on the very next day it's performing with a new production of El Mudo? If there's meant to be a larger gap in between when Carlotta is given the part, wouldn't the Phantom have taken his chance to fuck up shit during the rehearsals? Am I expected to believe that this cast of performers learned this opera in one evening's worth of rehearsal? I tell you no! Either way, they put on Il Mudo with Carlotta. The Phantom murders the pedophile stagehand and Christine takes Raoul onto the roof. The safest place. Why don't you take him to the street? Or the pub next door? The roof is completely ensuring that you can't run away. Imagine you're on the roof and you and Raoul are like, ooh, we love each other. And the Phantom's like, fireball of jealousy, bam, shazam, and tries to burn your goddamn face off. Aside from jumping off the roof, you're gonna have to take that fireball to the face. I can't get angry at this because it was in the book, but it was still stupid. It's really stupid in the Lon Chaney film, too.
Raoul, I love you and your mustache.
And I love you almost as much as my mustache.
Oh, I still feel like Monster Mash is watching, my love.
I'm sure he's got better things to do.
She betrayed me!
What was that?
Probably just the wind or something. I don't care.
Everybody betray me. I'm fed up with this war.
As far as I'm concerned, you can drop off the earth. That's a promise.
What? Raoul, why does nothing you say make sense?
Christine and Raoul sing a song and then go back to perform the show? Wait, they're still putting on the show despite someone literally being murdered on the stage? Those managers must really hate refunds.
We shall have to refund the full house.
Then the Phantom screams his anger to the heavens and causes the chandelier to crash onto the stage, and Act 1 ends. Yay. It's all downhill from here, guys. Alright, it's 3 months later. The Phantom's not been around in a while, Christine and Carlotta appear to be on decent terms, and Raoul and Christine are secretly engaged, hiding the ring right in her cleavage. It's time to party!
Turn down for what?
Then the Phantom bombs into the party and says, guess what, everybody? I wrote some Dawa fanfic. The crowd, rightfully confused, then watch the Phantom try to cop Christine's boob, but gets a ring instead. The Phantom then bombs away and Madame Giry gives us some exposition. You know, traditionally in musicals, when important exposition is given to the audience, it's done through a song.
It was years ago. There was a traveling fair in the city. Tumblers, conjurers, human oddities.
You didn't do it right, guys. You know, the friendship of Madame Giry and the Phantom would make a much more interesting show than this. Oh yeah, and the movie breaks the basic rule that George Lucas taught us in 1999. Don't show us our antagonist as a child! It breaks all ability to take them seriously. Then we have a redundant scene in which everyone screams at one another until Christine does what they ask of her. Since, I guess Christine isn't allowed to make a life-altering decision by herself, Raoul helps her out.
Christine, Christine, don't think that I don't care, but every hope and every prayer rests on you now.
I'm sorry, fans. How did we not see Raoul being an abusive dick coming years ago? Now we have a scene where the company is rehearsing, which I guess tells me that this opera house does rehearse for their productions, and god damn it, I don't even know what's going on anymore. Then Christine decides now would be the best moment of any to go to her father's creepy tomb, wishing he was somehow here again. This feels extremely out of nowhere, and the scene doesn't push the story forward at all. We simply learn that Christine misses her father and the Phantom is still stalking her, with his creepy daddy issue vibe. Raoul also gets a bit butthurt that Christine is still willing to follow the Phantom at any moment. But no real progression of story is made. We could have gone from the scene where Christine's whining about things being twisted, right to Raoul setting up for the opera, and know everything that's important. And salt is added to the wound when in the stupid movie an awful sword fight is added between Raoul and the Phantom. And Raoul makes the Phantom his bitch. Throw a fireball at him, please! I know this scene looks beautiful on stage, and it was in the book, but I don't like it. It seemed to slow everything down a little bit, and in a 2.5-hour musical, that feels like forever. But on its own, Wishing You Were Somehow Here Again is a great song. Then Raoul and company prepare to perform the Phantom's opera, folks with guns pointed at the Phantom all around. There ain't no way for the Phantom Wham to get out of this one, eh? Spoiler alert, Raoul's incompetent and fucks it all up. The opera goes on, and it's a weird little performance retelling of Don Juan, and can quite possibly be described as the best part of the entire friggin' musical. Piangi then exits off stage to his inevitable death, and the Phantom comes on disguised in Piangi's loose robes. I honestly have no complaints with this entire scene. It's a great song, the staging is beautiful, and the Phantom finally gets the boob grab he's been coveting this whole time. Then shit goes down when Christine de-hoods the Phantom, and all the folks with guns decide to do diddly dick about it. Damn, Eric, you might need to fix your wig there. Nah, you're good. Yeah, you can rock it. The Phantom returns Christine her ring and asks for her love publicly, and she responds with tearing off the Phantom's mask and wig, and the two return to his dungeon. The Phantom whines to Christine about how ugly he is. Christine responds with the logical,
Dude, you kidnapped me, forced affection on me, threatened people, and killed a man. At this point, the face isn't the deal killer.
Then Raoul tromps into the Phantom's lair with help from Madame Giry, and the Phantom hangs Raoul by a magic lasso. Here may be the silliest choice in the entire friggin' musical. The Phantom tells Christine to choose between Raoul's life and her own. At least, that's how we're meant to interpret it.
So do you and your days with me, or do you send him to his grave?
What actually happens is the Phantom's like, if you say that you love me, I will set him free, and you will stay here and love me forever. If you don't, I'll kill him, and then you'll stay here and love me forever. Bwahahaha! What's the choice that they're both the same situation, except Raoul ends up dead in one of them? Why do you look so conflicted, Christine? This stems from the book's Phantom making Christine choose between two little twisties, a grasshopper twisty and a scorpion twisty. If she turned the grasshopper, the opera house would be blown up. Turn the scorpion, then she lives to love Eric forevermore. This isn't a much better choice, but at least they're vastly different from one another, implying her choice would actually have a result. Nevertheless, Christine then makes out with the Phantom, and in an act of kindness or a change of heart or something, the Phantom frees Raoul and Christine to go about alone. Christine gives the Phantom her ring, signifying, I don't know, that she doesn't respect Raoul's engagement, or Raoul's now engaged to the Phantom or something, because that's his ring. That's his ring that he gave her. It's not hers to give to someone else. The Phantom's now engaged to Raoul. It's canon. Then the Phantom hides under his blankie, and the musical ends. I'm sorry, why is this so emotional again? The Phantom's a loathable, crazy murderer man with a fucked face. Christine has no personality and acts like she cannot make a decision for herself without some man leading her along the way. The plot meanders about for a while, leading to the conclusion we all saw coming. The characters act in a way no human being actually acts, and use whatever type of excuse of theatricality you possibly can. This is a very mediocre story, and I personally was far more involved with the side characters with less than 30 lines than our main cast. Every bit of good from the story stems from the original book, and almost every bad thing in this musical is newly added. There are moments in this of genius, but I simply cannot see why people adore this so much, or why it's so ubiquitous. It's simply meh. Meh, I say. But as I've stated several times before, a Broadway musical is much more than its story. In fact, when used properly, songs can take a terrible story and make it well done. But does that stand true for this musical? Allow me to delve into the music of the Phantom of the Opera.
Night time falling, Cameron keeps calling, posing questions, questions with suggestions, suddenly appearing, forever interfering. But here we are and cheering as we might. The man who flops the music of tonight.